Okay, so I wanted to do one more video pertaining the Chrissy video that I did recently. So, the Chrissy video that I was reacting to. I've watched a couple of her videos in the past. If everyone knows about me, I have a long history of watching Chrissy. Specifically because, in the beginning, I was confused because she would talk about colorism, and colorism never made any sense to me as a brown skinned girl because I would see the dark skinned black girls definitely would have more benefit than me in many regards. Some days people don't want to include you with them because they don't really associate you with the same ethnicity as the others, which is weird. But, you know, and then other times you get the negativity for being black. And then people want to say, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad as a dark skinned girl. Oh, you better suck it up. Kind of like thing. It's just like, from my perspective as a brown skinned girl, I felt like at the time, like, she obviously doesn't know what it's like to be specifically a woman who is brown skinned and specifically experiences life as a brown skinned girl, you know. And I feel like, you know, that's why I make my channel, if everyone knows. That's why I make my channel. Is because I felt like, honestly, like a lot of people were ignoring the fact that it's not being dark skinned that makes you experience negativity for being a black person. Personally for me, when you guys say like colorism, it made no sense because it's like I've been made fun of for my skin tone and I've been praised for my skin tone by both sides. Like, I've been attacked for my skin tone. Like, some people will say, like, you look dead, you look bleached, you look pale, a ghost, things like that. And a lot of the time, the attacks are usually to brown skinned women. It's not usually light skinned women who get that kind of thing. I'll say, I mean, a major thing for brown skinned women is dark-skinned black women will use the hierarchy against brown-skinned women to say that there's lighter-skinned women that are better than us. So to me, it's just like, from my perspective, I never understood this. I never understood why people always act like colorism exists. I don't get it. You mean to tell me that dark-skinned black people experience more colorism, but you guys will say, like, you need corrective promotion, right? Well, corrective promotion would have to do with, being seen in a masculine mentality, right? Well, who are the main black celebrities being called men these days? Oh, let's think. Michelle Obama. And she's brown skinned, not dark skinned. Megan Thee Stallion, brown skinned, not dark skinned. Rihanna, brown skin, not dark skin. I mean, Nicki Minaj, Ciara, Serena Williams. I named all brown skinned women. And it's just like interesting to me as a brown skinned girl how people like this will try and say, oh, what was me? What was me that dark-skinned black women are being treated all negative ways? And it's like, you guys are mainly the ones who are attacking other people for their skin tone, especially brown-skinned women. So I don't understand, how are you the one actually causing the colorism against some people, but at the same time you're somehow the victim of it? That's one thing to me. It's just like that. And then also the other thing is this, with Chrissy's channel, she was real sneaky with brown-skinned women. See, she tried to include brown-skinned women in the beginning of the channel. That's why at first I was iffy. Like, I didn't know if she was really actually against brown-skinned women or not, and if she was even speaking on brown-skinned women. What I understood that she was talking about brown-skinned women was when she would talk about people like Beyonce, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj specifically, she would talk about. And to me, it was obvious when she would talk about Nicki Minaj that she wasn't really actually in favor of black women's image, It wasn't like, most black women are brown skinned. Most black women are not dark skinned. If you pay attention to the definition of brown skin to her, she specifically says in her shade range video that brown skin is specifically between Rihanna's color and someone's color like lighter than Kelly Rowland, basically. So as dark as Gabrielle Union or like Kenya Moore. Those are brown skinned girls. So it's like interesting to me that she says we're not going to coddle light skinned women and talk about light skinned women being colorist and how light skinned women benefit from colorism. But then she moves the narrative when she changes her mind and calls people who are brown skinned light skinned and says that they're benefiting from colorism. And I kind of feel like, as someone who is brown skinned, and my skin changes through the summer and now through the winter, and I kind of feel like this. I feel like you guys try to act like colorism is like, it's like a situation where you think colorism is specifically something that benefits light-skinned women, right? Personally, to me, I feel like I don't get how that's the case, because it's like when I lose my tan, I don't experience less colorism or more colorism. So I know that there's no such thing as colorism from my own personal experience. But it's interesting that when people try to give examples of colorism, they start to bring up brown-skinned people. And they'll bring up people like Beyonce. I'm personally a couple shades lighter than Beyonce, like I think 2 shades. So I know she's brown-skinned. Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, they'll bring up people like that to say they have light skin privilege. And then they'll have like things where they say, like, for example, that like your personal experience as a, brown-skinned woman is going to be more privileged than dark-skinned black people. Or that brown-skinned people who are successful have basically some kind of situation where they basically have light skin privilege, but we're not light skinned. It's just so annoying to me, because it's like, could you get your argument straight? Because it just seems like you're just making up stuff at this point, and you're just basically trying to make this argument that colorism exists. But most of the people that you talk about with representation are actually brown skinned. They're just on the lighter spectrum of brown skin. She'll say like, oh, representation is mostly brown and light skin. But most of the people you're talking about fall all in the brown skin category, either light brown, brown, or dark brown. So obviously it's not light skinned people who are getting that representation. I hate it. You keep switching your tone. And what's really, I think, the problem with this whole situation with dark-skinned black women and colorism, it's their ploy to basically get more representation than the majority of black women who are brown-skinned. Because brown-skinned women, on average, if you look in the media and so forth, brown-skinned women are the ones who get representation. Some people will just label the light brown ones light skin. But that doesn't mean that they're actually light skinned, So anyway, my thing is, most black women aren't darker than Kelly Rowland. Point to me where most black women are darker than Kelly Rowland in America. I know that Chrissy is a foreigner and she's not from America, but in America, black people look a certain way, and it's not really a shock that black people look a certain way and that black people are generally lighter than Kelly Rowland. So representation of Kelly Rowland type women, dark-skinned black women, is okay. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be represented. I'm saying that the percentage of them being represented in black America should be appropriate to the percentage of the dark skinned black women in America, which is not as high as they like to pretend it is. I mean, they try to pretend and use brown skinned women to lift their numbers, and then when it comes to representation of brown skinned women, they want to cut us dry, basically. Look, for example, people like Zoe Saldana, for example, they'll try and act like Zoe Saldana should have not played a dark-skinned black woman's role, even though before that argument, everybody understood she was a light brown-skinned black woman. Some would even argue that she's just brown-skinned, that she's not even light brown, which I do think she's light brown. But anyway, but that's the thing. A lot of people don't pay attention to the fact that, when it comes to representation, most black women look within those ranges of skin tone and phenotypes. That you don't want to acknowledge what most black women look like. You want to acknowledge what you look like as a Caribbean. And you're not even a black American after all that. So to me, it's just like, I get tired of the narcissism, because that's what this is about. It's not about appropriate representation of dark-skinned black women. When I say dark skin, I mean the hue that she's talking about. Darker than Kelly Rowland is obviously not the common shade for black women in America. So that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and comment down below. Have a great day. Bye, guys.